He's a monster. Look, at the end of the day, Mike Tyson's a monster. And if he can get that monster to just move in and close the distance, and if he uncorks a boom boom on Jake Paul and watch Jake Paul go into Queer Street, that will be wild.
Boxing pros have shared their crazy predictions for the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. Boxing legend Oscar De La Hoya has voiced his worries about Mike Tyson's well-being in the upcoming clash, confessing he's a bit fearful for Iron Mike if the fight stretches past the third round. Though Tyson has been out of professional boxing since his 2005 loss to Kevin McBride, and his last bout was an exhibition with Roy Jones Jr. 4 years back, he's back in training for the fight. After having to pull out of the scheduled July match because of an ulcer, Tyson has returned to the gym, declaring he's ready to step back into the ring. As the fight approaches, speculation is rampant, and Oscar De La Hoya voiced his concerns about Tyson's odds against the younger Paul during a recent episode of the Club Shay Shay podcast. "Come on, I saw him the other day," De La Hoya remarked. He further added, "I love Tyson. He's got a puncher's chance in the first 3 rounds. I'm a little scared of Tyson getting hurt after the 3rd round. Jake Paul's a big boy. He's 27 years old. Tyson's 58. I'm happy for him that he's making money, that he still loves it. He's getting in there and he's in shape, but just be careful." In the lead up to their highly anticipated showdown, the problem child sweetened the stakes by offering Tyson a massive $5 million bonus if Iron Mike can last until the 4th round of their clash next month. In a video shared on his gambling platform, Beater's TikTok, Paul casually reclines shirtless on a couch, playfully piling cash atop his fake belly. Mikey, if you can last more than 4 rounds with me, I'll give you an extra $5 million, Paul declared. The American's offer came with an intriguing twist. The problem child revealed that if Tyson failed to last beyond 4 rounds, the boxing icon would have to carry a lasting reminder of his loss to the rising star. He added, "But if you don't, then you have to get a tattoo that says I love Jake Paul. Deal or no deal?" So far, Tyson's team has not responded to the staggering wager. Since stepping into the professional boxing ring in 2020, Paul has maintained a strong presence in the sport, boasting a 10-1 record. His sole loss in the squared circle came at the hands of Tommy Fury last year. Now, at 27, Paul faces Iron Mike on the heels of a devastating 6th-round knockout of former UFC standout Mike Perry. In a candid exchange with Jimmy Kimmel, Mike Tyson was quizzed about his state during the upcoming fight with Paul, to which he responded, "I'm going to be so high off life, yeah." Probing further, Kimmel inquired, "Will you be high on marijuana as well?" Tyson didn't rule it out, admitting that's a possibility too. The conversation took a humorous turn when Kimmel remarked, "Oh no, my bet is getting lower as we talk." Doubts have been cast by fans over Tyson's commitment to the match. In his conversation with Kimmel, Iron Mike insisted on his rigorous training regime, stating, "I am training extremely hard. I do 6 hours a day. I start at 11 a.m. and might leave the gym at 5 p.m. A surprised Kimmel questioned the intensity of the training. "Oh no, 11 a.m.? So that's 6 hours straight, or is there a lunch break?" Tyson conceded there was indeed a brief intermission, prompting an astonished reaction from Kimmel. "Oh no." As the countdown begins, Joe Rogan and his guests have already weighed in, highlighting what they see as the ideal outcome for the clash. In episode 163 of the JRE MMA show, Joe Rogan gathered with former fighters Din Thomas, John Rallo, and Matt Serra to discuss the much-anticipated clash between Iron Mike and the problem child. During their conversation, Rogan voiced his worry about Tyson's well-being, openly questioning how the boxing legend must feel facing Paul at this stage of his life. The Bellator FC icon noted that Tyson appeared to genuinely enjoy himself while hyping up the matches. It was undoubtedly a favorable scenario for him. Should he face defeat, many would attribute it to his age. However, a victory over Paul would significantly enhance his legacy. Rogan expressed his thoughts, stating that Tyson was a formidable force. He remarked that ultimately, Mike Tyson was a monster, and suggested that if Tyson could manage to close the distance and unleash a powerful combination on Jake Paul, it would likely send Paul reeling. Rogan added that witnessing such an event would be remarkable. When it was Din Thomas's turn, he asserted that Tyson winning by knockout would be the best thing that could happen to the planet. The podcaster went on to say that the best possible outcome would be for Jake Paul to quickly realize that he was up against Mike Tyson. He noted that, at least for the first round or two, Paul would come to understand just who Tyson was in the ring. Needless to say, this emotion was shared by the MMA veterans as well.
To watch a 58-year-old Mike, that would be best case scenario for the world.
I agree.
Worst case scenario,
yeah.
someone gets hurt.
Yeah, best case scenario for the world is that he knocks Jake Paul out.
Yeah, best case scenario is Jake Paul realizes immediately he's in there with Mike Tyson. That Mike Tyson, at least for a round or two,
First
still
time
be
he
Mike
gets
Tyson.
cracked.
This matchup stands out as one of the most captivating in professional boxing history. This leads us to ponder how the baddest man on the planet would secure a knockout against his rival. Fortunately, Rogan has a perspective on that. As the conversation progressed, Rogan mentioned that Tyson was fully capable of knocking Paul out, emphasizing that if Paul made a wrong move, zigging when he should have zagged, and if Tyson managed to close the distance unexpectedly, the knockout could happen. However, Rogan also pointed out that Tyson faced significant challenges. He added that Tyson had a wealth of experience, with layers of attacks ingrained in his mind, noting that Tyson had likely forgotten more about boxing than Jake Paul had ever learned.
Dude, he's perfectly capable of knocking him out.
He is perfectly capable. If he zigs when he should have zagged, if Mike can close the distance in a way that he doesn't expect, and Mike also has layers upon layers of attacks that are in his mind. He's forgotten more about boxing than Jake Paul has ever remembered.
However, the JRE host was well aware of Paul's impressive fighting skills. He merely hoped that the problem child wouldn't succeed in knocking Tyson out. It would certainly be a heartbreaking narrative for Rogan to witness the iconic boxer face defeat at the age of 58. And many of Iron Mike's loyal fans would share in that sorrow as well. Francis Ngannou, former UFC heavyweight champion, has shared his insights on the upcoming clash between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. A number of industry experts and members of the public have expressed their worries regarding Tyson's health as he prepares for his showdown with the problem child on November 15th. Their concerns intensified following a recent incident during a routine flight where the veteran experienced an ulcer flare-up that resulted in the cancellation of the original match. Ngannou, on the other hand, has an alternative viewpoint, and he hasn't been hesitant to voice it to Jake Paul. In an interview with Paul on his own podcast, BS with Jake Paul, the Predator was questioned about a variety of subjects, including his opinions on the fight. Ngannou made a remarkable entrance into the boxing world last year, going head-to-head with Tyson Fury. Leading up to that fight, he honed his skills alongside the legendary Iron Mike, who, according to Ngannou, still demonstrates remarkable prowess at the age of 58. In light of his loyalty to Tyson, Ngannou faced questions from reporters during a PFL media scrum last month regarding his views on the upcoming match. He confidently declared that he believes Tyson will take Paul down. This led the problem child to challenge Ngannou on the topic when speaking to him on his podcast. Jake said, "You spoke to some reporter yesterday or the day before, and you said that Mike Tyson is going to beat my ass." And Ngannou responded without hesitation, saying, "I do. Listen, I have seen Tyson move around to show me stuff, and I was like, calm down. He has still got it. We're talking about Mike, bro. Mike is something else. He is a specimen." Although many fans see a Tyson victory as reliant solely on a knockout, Francis Ngannou holds the view that the former world heavyweight champion could also secure a win by decision. Seeking an advantage against his rival, Jake Paul inquired of his guest if there were specific things he should be wary of when preparing to face Mike Tyson. Ngannou responded by saying, "You need to watch out for everything. Mike will move from this side to this side without you knowing. In another circumstance, I would be like, okay, let's go Jake. But with this, I'm like, bro, let's be real." The highly anticipated battle was scheduled for July 20th, but it had to be postponed when Mike Tyson's injury flared up on a flight. Many remain apprehensive about the idea of a 58-year-old man potentially grappling with significant health challenges, stepping into the ring against a 27-year-old in peak physical condition. While the Texas Department of Licensing and Registration has approved the bout as a professional heavyweight match, it will adhere to a modified set of rules designed to minimize the risk of serious injury to the older fighter, Mike. In a departure from the traditional 3-minute rounds, this matchup will feature 8 rounds, each lasting 2 minutes. Additionally, the fighters will don 14-ounce gloves instead of the standard 10-ounce used in heavyweight contests. As is customary, the bout may end with a knockout, and the outcome will be officially recorded on both competitors' professional records. When Tyson steps into the ring against Paul in their highly anticipated Dallas showdown, he will be a staggering 31 years older. This age gap has sparked concerns among fight fans globally for the legendary icon. However, Fury, the man who bears his name, seems to be confident that he will surprise everyone and give the problem child a lesson. The Gypsy King said, "Listen, if Mike Tyson hits anybody, I don't care if he's 90. He's gonna knock them out cold, ain't he? Obviously, I have to back Mike Tyson. I'm named after the legend, and I'll back him. As he always backs me, I'm backing Mike for the knockout. Come on, Mike. Mike, Tyson hasn't entered a ring since his fight with legendary boxer Roy Jones Jr. Iron Mike appeared to be a shadow of the person who terrified heavyweight boxers in the 1980s and 1990s. However, he is certain that he can turn back time against Paul, who he says is incapable of hurting him. "Can I be honest?" Tyson asked his team while taking part in an interview with Esquire. He added, "I don't think he can hurt me." Although he hasn't competed professionally since his 2005 loss to Kevin McBride, Tyson remains confident that he still has what it takes to outshine Paul. The New Yorker said, "He's not going to hit me with the jab." Fight enthusiasts worldwide are questioning why Tyson, nearing retirement age, is willing to jeopardize his health in a matchup against the powerful Paul. The topic of why Tyson, who is getting close to retirement age, would risk his health to fight the formidable. Paul is being asked by fight fans all over the world. The former baddest man on the planet said, "I'm a glory junkie. I love people thinking about me all day. I'd rather live a short life of glory than a long life of obscurity. It's just who I am. This is all I started fighting for, to get all this status. I'm going to be chasing it for the rest of my life. I know that. I'm never going to get what I want because I'm one of those gluttons for pain. I can never get enough." Former world champion Amir Khan has also made a bold prediction regarding the clash. Khan is confident that Tyson, known for his ferocious power, will claim victory with a swift knockout in the early rounds. He said, "The fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, wow, no one would have ever expected a fight like that fight to be made. Mike Tyson is a legend of the game and not someone who you want to mess about with. Even though he's older now and has been retired for a long time, he's obviously done a few exhibitions." Khan expressed his concern, stating that he believed Tyson could seriously hurt Jake Paul. He found it hard to understand what Paul was thinking, given that he was facing a heavyweight legend, and feared that Paul might be badly injured. Khan questioned whether the buildup was just hype, with both Mike and Jake promoting the fight simultaneously, and noted that the situation seemed unreal. He hoped Tyson wouldn't end up hurting Paul, adding that while he liked Jake, Tyson was not someone to take lightly or engage in an exhibition with, especially considering Paul's smaller and lighter physique. Khan said, "I don't know how this is going to go. Is it really going to happen? It amazes me and I'm shocked. I've got Mike Tyson winning by knockout. Even though he's in his 50s, he's still a dangerous guy not to be messed with." However, analysts are leaning towards Jake Paul as the frontrunner, citing his youth as a significant advantage. As a result, Deontay Wilder, the former WBC champion, expresses concerns that the result might spell disaster for Tyson. Wilder, holding a record of 43 wins and just one loss, contends that Tyson is too old to face a younger opponent like Jake Paul. The former WBC champion expresses worries about Tyson's safety in the upcoming match. Wilder said, "I think it's bad the commission has licensed Mike Tyson because he hasn't been active in 20 years, so they should not just license him because of who he is. That's how people get hurt. God forbid he gets hurt. People can get hit in the wrong place and at the wrong time. There's lots of examples where guys have been hit into a coma. It's easy to do. He's too old for this." James's Buster Douglas knows Mike Tyson's strengths and weaknesses well. In a stunning turn of events in 1990, the heavyweight contender from Ohio defied the odds by knocking out the legendary Iron Mike, seizing the undisputed heavyweight title. This remarkable victory stands as one of the most astonishing upsets in boxing history. After a 34-year hiatus, Tyson is gearing up for a comeback in the boxing ring. This time, he'll face off against Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned fighter, in a professional match consisting of 8 two-minute rounds with oversized gloves. Numerous critics have voiced their concerns about the matchup, arguing that the return of the 58-year-old fighter poses too great a risk. However, Douglas sees things differently. He recently shared with Gambling Zone that he believes the fight is not hazardous, citing Paul's limited skill set. He remarked that observing Tyson in training is better than most heavyweights today. Douglas said, "I don't think Mike fighting is risky because he's not fighting a legitimate 27-year-old contender, Jake Paul. Mike is going to be relentless. And the clips I saw of him before, he's looking pretty good, better than most of the heavyweights out there today. He has no reason to hesitate. Jake needs to go out immediately, and bang, let him know there's something to look out for. Otherwise, it's going to be open target season, and Mike's going to be throwing shots with no worry about what's coming back." Douglas added that Mike Tyson had never been concerned about what was coming back at him, questioning why he would be worried about Jake Paul. He speculated that Tyson would likely target Paul's body and raised doubts about whether Paul could withstand a serious body attack. Douglas envisioned that once Tyson gained momentum, he would overwhelm Paul. Douglas even went so far as to say that Paul's still emerging boxing career might come to an end if Tyson wins easily. Douglas said, "The 2-minute rounds will be to Mike's advantage for sure. Those 2 minutes will pass quickly. You can get your shots off and then recover. It's not going to be good for Jake. I don't think there will be much of a boxing career left for Paul afterwards. I think once Mike gets rid of him, that's it for his boxing career." Douglas further added that the best possible outcome for Jake Paul would be to simply last the entire fight and claimed that he went the distance with Mike Tyson. He advised Paul to keep his hands up and avoid Tyson's powerful punches, which he described as coming in like rockets. According to Douglas, Paul would likely feel intimidated by these blows and should keep moving, avoiding standing directly in front of Tyson, likening it to avoiding a train on the tracks. Douglas predicted that it would be an easy win for Tyson, possibly the easiest of his career. While it might be challenging if Tyson were 65, at 58, he believed it would be effortless. The contentious match, sparked by concerns over Tyson's age, health, and lack of recent activity, represents only the fourth occasion that 27-year-old Paul has squared off against a traditional boxer. His previous opponents have predominantly included retired MMA fighters, a fellow YouTuber, and a basketball player. Of the MMA men he faced, 4 have predicted how the Tyson fight goes. Nate Diaz said, "I like it. I think it's cool. I think Mike Tyson all the way." Ben Askren predicted, "I just feel like 58 is, yes, the one thing he'll probably retain is the power. So Mike Tyson needs to catch him. But the gas tank and all the other things that go with it definitely go downhill, especially when you haven't been doing it very competitively. I feel like that's how it's gonna go. It's gonna be competitive early. 58 is old and he's probably gonna get tired, and yeah, it's a lose-lose because everybody loves Mike Tyson. You're beating up a 58-year-old. He hasn't been actively competitive in 20 years. Mike Perry, who fought Jake recently, said, "I think Jake wins. I think you're younger and I think you're doing the right things as far as what your team has you doing. It works. I wasn't able to add anything up on you. I wasn't able to have you punch yourself out. I wasn't able to get you on the ropes where I could release a flurry, and at 58, Mike's age is something I'm thinking about." Meanwhile, Tyrone Woodley said, "On memory alone, on ability alone, he's going to be able to outdo and subdue any type of fresh newborn technique that Jake Paul has learned. He can just go onto autopilot and wreck some of the current heavyweight champions now. Yes, he could knock Paul out. He was programmed as a machine of war. Him and Tank are the only 2 boxers in the history of the sport that have as many knockouts with a jab, as a hook, as a overhand, high-low body shots. They have had a knockout on their records from every punch they can throw. His muscle memory alone is enough to beat anybody. I'd fight him, but I'd be scared." Mike Tyson established himself as one of the best American boxers of all time with his incredible career, which included 50 victories and just 6 losses. In contrast, Jake Paul has chosen to distance himself from social media to concentrate on his boxing aspirations. With a strong resolve to turn professional, he has thrown down the gauntlet, challenging Iron Mike to face him in the ring this year. The matchup between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson leaves boxing enthusiasts on the edge of their seats, filled with uncertainty. Despite Paul being 3 decades younger, Tyson's wealth of experience and his legacy as one of the all-time greats in the sport present a daunting challenge. Analysts are favoring Jake Paul, citing his youthful agility as a potential advantage. While Tyson's legacy is undeniable, he may not possess the same level of sharpness he had in his prime. Boxers and analysts have voiced their predictions, but now a former opponent of Jake Paul has chimed in. According to reports, the matchup may be called off unexpectedly if Tyson fails to clear his medical evaluations. Nevertheless, Iron Mike has consistently affirmed his readiness to take on Jake Paul this November. Former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua recently shared his thoughts on the contest when asked by Jonathan Ross, calling it a positive development for the sport. Joshua said, "I personally think it's really good. I think the boxing fanatics don't like it because it's like, why are they disrespecting our sport? There's an Olympic system you go through, and once you qualify there, you go through the professional ranks, whereas someone with a profile can come out of nowhere and fight the best guys." He added, "Let's say we divided this crowd in half, and half are hardcore boxing fans and half are people that love a certain person like a YouTuber. But that person brings all these people into boxing, which benefits everyone. It's a tough game, so everyone viewing helps, so I think it's really good for exposure." Then, seeing that Tyson may be affected by aging, he foresaw the fight and took the younger man's side, hoping the latter would emerge unscathed. Joshua said, "The only thing I'm worried about is father time, and father time has never been beat. Tyson is older now. I pray that he comes out healthy. I think Jake Paul will, and because of the youth, that's the only thing. Because of the youth." What comes to mind when you picture Mike Tyson in the boxing ring? It's the sheer ferocity and explosive strength he brings, a whirlwind of punches that defy his age or the time he spent outside the ropes. This is precisely why Tim Bradley Jr. places his confidence in Tyson to deliver a knockout victory against Jake Paul in their upcoming match. 40-year-old Bradley Jr. believes Tyson is capable of clinching a victory reminiscent of his prime. What's behind this optimism? In a recent chat with ProBox TV, Bradley Jr. emphasized that a 2-minute round would unleash the former heavyweight champion's full ferocity. With a record of 50 wins and 6 losses, Tyson could easily corner Paul, who stands at 10-1, delivering punishing body shots and overwhelming him with sheer strength. He said, "Mike Tyson has the potential to knock this man out. You know that the power is the last thing that leaves you. This is Mike Tyson we're talking about 2 minutes. That's all it takes. He can get the knockout. Knock Disney Boy the hell out. Although many observers have Tyson ahead on their scorecards, there are growing apprehensions about the possibility of him facing a knockout loss. The former champion appears to be a mere shell of his once dominant self. When considering his issues with sciatica, a recent hip surgery, and his ability to maintain stamina throughout a professional bout, these doubts only intensify. UFC star Michael Chandler shares these concerns as well. What if Bradley Jr.'s forecast took an unexpected turn? Chandler shifted his attention away from Problem Child's recent bout against Mike Perry, in which he had a significant edge, weighing in 20 pounds heavier and towering nearly 4 inches taller than his opponent. He told Lucky Block, now it's Mike Tyson, who is 30 years older. Mike Tyson's about 60, and Jake's about 30. I love Mike Tyson. Nobody wants to see Mike Tyson get knocked out, but everybody wants to see Mike Tyson catch Jake Paul and knock him out. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.